Welcome to another installment of Advancing the Common Good with United Way of the Lewis and Clark area. I'm Dana Freedy, and I'm the Director of Development and Marketing for United Way here in Helena, Montana. Today we're going to talk about something that's actually really important for our community, and we're going to talk about how it can be really difficult to find resources when you need a little bit of help. So to join me and talk a little bit about that today, we have Drenda Neiman, the Health Officer for Lewis and Clark County Public Health, and Allison Munson, the President and CEO of United Way of the Lewis and Clark area. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Dana.
Yeah. So talking about resources and how they're available in the community and what people can do to access them, we have been doing a lot of work around the Mayor's Challenge and 211. Would you mind telling our listeners just a little bit about both of those things, the Mayor's Challenge and 211?
Sure. I'll start with a little information about Mayor's Challenge. So Montana has the highest per capita of veterans and service members across the nation, at about 9% veterans, which is what we know that our neighbors and our family members, and they're, you look around and you ask, and there are quite a few veterans. What is also a little unfortunate and disturbing is that 1 in 5 veterans are dying by suicide in Montana. And so this is a heartbreaking statistic that we're paying very close attention to. And so is SAMHSA, so the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, which is part of the federal government. They also noticed that Montana has a high veterans suicide rate, and so offered us an opportunity called the Mayor's Challenge to receive some technical assistance to figure out how in our community we can do better. How do we support our veterans? How do we help them get the services that they need? How do we come together and collaborate better and really bolster the services that we have and make sure that individuals that are in need of services know how to find them? And so 211 is a part of that overall package that's a part of the Mayor's Challenge efforts in our community. So you want to visit a little bit about 211?
So the Veterans Association or the Veterans Administration got the grant from SAMHSA, and then the VA granted that fund back on to the Yellowstone United Way, and they're subcontracting with us, the United Way of the Lewis and Clark area. And we are working on our 211 hotline, which is a FCC approved hotline for crisis intervention and to connect people with resources. It is not 911, so it's not meant to be that emergency phone number to get help right then when you need it. 211 is kind of that in between when you're in a crisis and you need help. The people are trained to work with veterans and their family members and to be conscientious about how veterans and how to speak with them and how to be connect with them empathetically and also strengthen them. So I'm pretty excited about getting 211 updated. We right now are updating it's a website, so it's Montana 211, but locally, Helena, Montana, we are updating our local resources. So if people would go fill out our form, we'll get it entered into the system, and it'll connect people easily with the services that we provide throughout our community.
Great. Now, 211 is available online, so it's montana211.org, correct? Yes. And then if anybody wants to call, what happens?
Oh my goodness, I forgot that piece. So if you call 211, you are actually connected to Voices of Hope in Great Falls, Montana, and they use the resources that we have given them to update the 211 site to be able to speak about the services that people can get, whether that's mental health assistance, for medical assistance, it's any resource, food, insecurity, just wrapping around every service that's available in our community, and they can do that through one person that's well trained on our services provided.
Great. And it's not just for veterans and their families, it's available for anyone, but we're especially making the effort for the Mayor's Challenge and to meet the requirements and outcomes set forth by that, correct?
Yes. So what we did was we partnered with United Way and realized that 211 is probably going to be the best resource directory. Over the course of time, resource directories really come and go, and as soon as you print one, it's outdated because services change. And so in our community, it made the most sense to partner with the 211, partner with United Way, and so now, as a new feature to the 211 website, there's a button right on there that says Veteran Service Members and Their Families.
Oh, great.
And so that leads individuals that are seeking out some support services directly to the services that that are intended for veterans and service members and that have some cultural competency around the military culture. So we're hoping that this helps get the veterans and family members and service members connected to the services that they need.
That's great.
And I'd like to take this moment to thank Dorinda. Dorinda is a service member, and thank you very much for your service.
Yeah, thank you.
And so she understands and is really passionate about this. And I'm excited to be a part of it, and for the future of United Way, we will continue to keep the resource updated. We're committed to that because, like Dorinda said, it does every year, people change their information. So we're going to keep that resource updated for military families and families across our community.
That's wonderful. So then outside of Lewis and Clark County Public Health and United Way, what other organizations are playing an active role in the Mayor's Challenge?
Yeah, so the mayor, of course, unfortunately, Mayor Collins wasn't able to join us today, but Mayor Collins traveled with us back east. He was part of a small contingent that did the initial training and orientation to different public health strategies to address suicide in our community. So the mayor and his staff at the city. We also have the VA, multiple members across the VA, and we're very thankful that we have their partnership. We have partnership from folks out at Fort Harrison, so the Army National Guard and the Air National Guard are very avid members. Center for Mental Health, they're engaged partners as well. Western Montana Mental Health Center are engaged partners, and many across the community. We have up to 20 members come to our coalition meetings on a regular basis to address suicide. And then the smaller Mayor's Challenge piece of that work is definitely, we definitely have very engaged partners that are helping us. And we do have some other work, and I'm not sure if now is the time to visit a little bit about some of the other things that are happening around the Mayor's Challenge, but definitely the 211 is so important for the general public to understand. So.
Yeah. So then if anybody wants to learn a little bit more about the Mayor's Challenge or 211, where can they go to find more information and resources about that?
Well, definitely the Mayor's Challenge and all the suicide prevention work can be found on our website. It's lcsuicideprevention.org. We have a Facebook page as well, so that's Lewis and Clark Suicide Prevention, and that gives a really nice overview of all of the different suicide prevention work that's happening in our community and all of our partners. And then the 211, of course, can be found at 211, montana211.org.
That's great.
And we will put links up to this on our UnitedWayLCA.org website so that everyone has a couple places where you're not going to not be able to find it.
That's great. Great. Well, thank you both so much for joining us today and giving us an overview of the Mayor's Challenge in 211 and why it's so important to support Montana's veterans. So, great. Well, if you would like to learn more information or actually take a look at 211, you can visit online at montana211.org or go ahead and dial 211 from any phone to connect to an operator who can give you all the information you need to access local resources. Thank you and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.